After 7 years, the final TF2 comic has been released. And I've had a little over a week to let it sink in. I now feel that TF2 is over. I'll explain. Now, first, I'm going to assume that you've already read the comic. And so I want to go over some things in it. The mercs. Our mercs. The weirdos, outcasts, misfits, whatever. They were not supposed to succeed. That monument in the main hall of the administrative building, they were not on it at all. They were the F team removed from it. The mercs are not major players, and they were not expected to succeed. Heck, the lady at the front desk doesn't even know who Miss Pauline is, let alone the mercs, and basically tells them to get out. If the NG wasn't there, they wouldn't have gotten very far into the building. Or, well, they probably would have, but it would have been a slaughterhouse instead. And you know, this is further illustrated by the demo man looking at that one guy in power armor, just kind of in a little bit of shock and awe. He's intimidating. He's larger than life. You know, he's covered in armor and weapons. Heck, he's standing on a mountain of them. He's heroic. Very heroic. Well, as Miss Pauline says as he's looking at it, nobody did, though, did they? Not any of the good teams, not the administrator, not even you. Everybody just thought we'd screw it all up, didn't they? Create a distraction. Let the real mercs save the day. Well, we did it. The TF2 mercs were passed by for more techie, loud, and shiny heroes. Sure, the mercs are loud, but I don't think we could ever call them heroes. They're just mercs. The comics exemplify this pretty well, I think. But that's the big thing. Look at the statue. Look how heroic they all are. I mean, compared to the mercs, goodness. Even then, they were all essentially fighting over nothing. Well, besides Australia, I'm sure, but no one, not even Miss Pauline, let alone, the administrator, actually expected them to find more, especially in Fort or anywhere else. And in the end, Australium didn't make anyone happy at all. Not Plutarch, not Redmond, not Gray, not even Saxton Hale, and most assuredly not the administrator. In the end, she forgot what she was even fighting for, why she was torturing Zephaniah Man at all. Australium ground her to dust. So what's that to say about the mercs? What were they even doing out at Fort, Dust Bowl, Frontier, and the Gorge? Everywhere else they were. Well, they were fighting, and they were fighting for money, for cold hard cash. The TF2 mercs are mercs. They are not heroes. And even though they may have their own ideals, whether perhaps good or twisted, the mercs fought for cash, and not some grand or noble goal. Unlike modern hero shooters, sure, you still have your rats among them, but for the most part, they're heroes, they're heroic. Like Overwatch, or that one, Valorant, or I don't know, that new Marvel one everyone's talking about. Those are hero shooters. Hell, TF2 was made at a time when hero shooter, the term, didn't even exist. TF2's a class shooter. It's certainly not a hero shooter, but people still call it that because of these new games. Compared to them, even in gameplay, TF2's dated. They're an evolution on the shooter idea, you know? Hell, even thinking about it in gameplay. In TF2, the mercs are very loose, and maybe sometimes they work together, but generally they're doing their own thing. But in modern hero shooters, you're expected to focus in, help the team, and, be on your A game. You can't be off doing your own thing. You have to be supporting the team's goal in some way, shape, or form. Teams are very tight compared to TF2's loose teams. And as I said, TF2 is outdated. It came out in 2007. It's 17 years old. It's almost legally an adult. But it's still kicking. Somehow, in some way, it's still here. When, for instance, Overwatch, it certainly won the battle of longevity with. But why? Well, TF2's wonderful. It's one of a kind. And it's still the best hat simulator in existence. It survived bot invasions, a lack of support from developers, and even entropy from time. Maybe the money alone from TF2 makes it too valuable for Valve to shut off. But even then, the TF community is insane. Even if Valve, for some reason, pulled the plug on TF2, fans would keep it alive through community servers. And that's the thing, too. The TF community has a great glue. I'd like to think YouTube had a big hand in that. I mean, thinking about the titanic YouTubers of TF2, Whether that's Uncle Dane, King Raja, Muselk, Shork, Zesty Jesus, NISLT, or even the animators on YouTube, and I suppose the Steam community page, but still YouTube, like the Tiger42, El Toro, Pathan Tate, Dr. Lauv, Damashi DX, Alexium, Ghost of Moinen, Kitty0706. Some are gone, some are still going strong, and some of them are relatively new. And that's the thing. New people are still getting into TF2. TF2 still gets a ton of love. These animations, they're wonderful. They've just gotten better and better over time, from the crude source filmmaker ones to now, goodness gracious. And even then, the TF community is much wider than that. There's so many more people making hats and weapons in the workshops. Various artists making fan art. And there's still TF2 tournaments of all things. And beyond that too, TF2 and meme culture, and goodness, the internet as a whole, TF2 is an integral part of internet culture. It's everywhere. Even when I stopped playing TF2 for a while, I got a little tired of it, I still saw TF2 things everywhere. I still liked them, but even now, you can see TF2 in unusual places. The mercs, the memes, it's pretty great. And that's where its staying power is, the fans. The community, it's dedicated and it loves the game. So, looping back around to the end of TF2, to quote the comics page on the Team Fortress website, TF2 didn't start with a lot of story. There wasn't room for one. But as the updates got more ambitious, we found the perfect way to explore the Mercs world: comics. Over the years, the comics have spawned ancillary characters, then assistants to the ancillary characters. Companies mentioned in passing became global empires 3 generations old. The game that started as a handful of guys in a desert shooting at each other slowly blossomed into the most labyrinthine story in Valve history. Team Fortress 2's story, the comics, gave it so much life. An insane amount. All the comics are very, very well done. They're fantastic reads. And they explore the mercs pretty well in depth. And well, with the comic's conclusion, TF2 feels over. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, look at that ending. The mercs are happy. The soldier and the scout are wonderful fathers, especially the scout. That makes me so happy. The spy, well, he gets to see his grandkids, and we get to finally see his face. The medic has his baboon also. Everyone's happy. It's a happy ending. Even Miss Pauline, though she doesn't show up, sends a turkey for everyone to share. It makes me grin just thinking about that final panel. The Team Fortress 2 comic thanks its fans for sticking around and supporting the game through all of these years, and it's wonderful. This is probably the best ending TF2 could ever have. And with this final comic, after 7 years, the mercs and the surrounding characters can finally have closure. Now, the fans of TF2 and the game itself will persist, as they should, but I think that if Valve won't be giving us more updates, or much more support, that's okay. The comics are finished. TF2's story is done. As Saxton Hale says at the end of the comic, you want to live forever? With that, I think this is the happiest ending TF2 can have. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks for sticking around with TF2. Lots of good memories there. And I'll hop on to play occasionally. It's still a good time. I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.